Scope, a financial consulting and fundraising firm, invests $27 million in launching XMHFT, its latest venture in the high-frequency trading sector. XMHFT to offer AI-driven trading solutions at $9,000 per terminal for US and Indian markets. Manufacturing tech startup Fabrication Bazaar bagged $3 million in a pre-Series A round led by Rs60 Capital. Also sees participation from Japan-based venture capital ICMG and existing investor Inflection Point Ventures. Paddle Park India, a platform for the sport of paddle, has raised an undisclosed amount from a clutch of investors, including Parth Jindal. Paddle Park India is on track to deliver 40 paddle courts in the next 3 months and train 250 people from next month. SpaceX is targeting August 27th for the launch of its Polaris Dawn mission, which will take a Crew Dragon spacecraft to its highest orbit and feature the first ever private spacewalk. Polaris Dawn will send 4 people to Earth orbit around a SpaceX Crew Dragon capsule, which will lift off from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Those were the headlines that we're tracking for you this evening. But on what's brewing today, the rapid rise of quick commerce has caught the attention of the Union Consumer Affairs Ministry. Sources say the government has flagged concerns of the surge of quick commerce and is likely to assess the impact on Kirana stores. Shivani Bajaj joins us now with the details. Shivani, what are you picking up?
Well, absolutely. The government sources tell us that the Consumer Affairs Ministry has flagged potential competition concerns as the quick commerce sector continues to experience rapid growth in India. The ministry is reportedly worried that the expansion of platforms like Blinkit, Zepto and Swiggy Instamart could pose a significant threat to the small businesses and local Kirana stores, which have long been the backbone of Indian retail landscape. Now, sources indicate that the Consumer Affairs Ministry has already raised these concerns with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. However, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs believes that these quick commerce players are currently too small to be regulated under at least the digital competition law. Despite this, the government's worry persists. Now, what is it that the government is exactly worried about? What are the concerns? Sources suggest that the Consumer Affairs Ministry is particularly apprehensive about the potential for aggressive discounting strategies and the rapid proliferation of dark stores. These are small warehouses located near to the customers that are being run by these quick commerce platforms. The ministry fears that these practices could severely impact the local Kirana shops, undermining a healthy competition and possibly leading to a monopolistic environment in the retail space. Now, in light of these concerns, the government is considering whether more stringent measures are needed to ensure that the growth of these quick commerce companies does not come at the expense of small businesses and fair competition in the market. Back to you.
Right, Shivani, many thanks for those details. Now, on the hot seat today, engineering and technology services company BlueBinaries has raised 60 crore rupees in a mix of debt and equity round led by Anicut Capital. The proceeds will be deployed towards building its existing customer base of OEMs and Tier 1 automotive suppliers across geographies, among other things. Now, co-founded in 2017, BlueBinaries focuses on accelerating the development of software-defined vehicles with EE architecture design and development services and digital technologies. Joining me now to discuss this further are Srinivas Aravapalli, the founder and CEO of BlueBinaries, and Dhruv Kapoor, the partner of Anicut Capital. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street today. You know, Srinivas, let me start with you, right? BlueBinaries, essentially, like I just said, focuses on accelerating the development of software-defined vehicles. Can you simplify for our viewers what is it that BlueBinaries does and who does it help? What is the tech edge that you have?
First of all, thank you for this opportunity. At BlueBinaries, what we do is we provide comprehensive solutions in design and engineering space for the mobility industry in India and also outside India. Our offerings span mainly in the areas of vehicle engineering, more focused in electrical and electronics domain. We are a very specialized solution provider in the area of electronics domain for the automotive industry. Number two, we are also providing solutions in digital technology space. We offer solutions in digital technologies. In the automotive space, the third is we provide services and solutions for validation, verification, and homologation. In these domains, in these areas, we offer our services. Also, we support embedded software development. So all these offerings, including cutting-edge solutions like the E&E architecture, that is electrical and electronics architecture, which is very, very important, significant for the electric vehicles. This is being provided by us for many of the leading companies worldwide. We also support software-defined vehicles. Then we support electrification initiatives like powertrain development in the area of electric powertrain, advanced systems like digital cockpit, ADAS, that is advanced driver assist systems, and autonomous driving functions. So these are the areas what we do at BlueBinaries Engineering and Solutions based out of Chennai, Bangalore, Pune, Trivandrum, US, UK, and Europe. So we are very committed to drive innovation and accelerate the transformation of the automotive ecosystem. Importantly, to make us a trusted partner for our customers in OEM space, that is original equipment manufacturers. That means the vehicle manufacturers as well as tier one suppliers.
Sure, absolutely. Srinivas, sorry to cut you, but we're short on time. But if you could quickly tell me, you said you want to partner with various OEMs and stuff. So talk to us about the kind of clients that you have on your roster, and who do you work with, and across how many geographies? You just mentioned a few. Are you looking to enter new geographies? What's the growth plan?
See, definitely, we are getting into new. We are already in the geographies like Europe, UK, and US. For the confidentiality reasons, I will not be able to take out the names of the OEMs, but we are working with many of the leading global OEMs spread in UK and Europe as well as in India. And we also would like to expand our global footprint to APAC a lot. We are already working with some of the Korean clients and also some of the US clients. So yes, we would like to expand our global footprint much more into OEMs and tier ones, that is the system manufacturers, aggregate and component manufacturers. So that's what is what we are looking at it. We would definitely expand our footprint in the area of E&D architecture, software-defined vehicles, cockpit domain, the cockpit electronics, as well as advanced driver assistance, ADAS, and autonomous technologies in India as well as outside.
Right. So big expansion plans there. But Dhruv, if I could bring you into this conversation, Anicut Capital has bet big on BlueBinaries with this investment. So, what are the synergies you see, and what's the big opportunity you see here with BlueBinaries?
Thank you for having us on board. Mobility as a theme is under constant change, and this is driven by newer technologies that are affecting cars. These could be connected, this could be security, this could be, like Srinivas said, ADAS, etc. The fastest growing segment here is infotainment. This is, the way the connected car works, the digital cockpit, and where BlueBinaries has built a specialization is in these areas. The company has been bootstrapped, but, based on the strength of the relationship and the work they've done, they've opened up global OEMs, both on the automotive side as well as on the supply network. We believe that over time, this could become a very large opportunity. So we've gone all in and we've taken a big exposure to this company.
Right. All right. So those are the reasons that you bet big on the company. But, Srinivas, if you could take us through the kind of revenues you're clocking, and what about profitability? Also, more importantly, how will you use the funds that you've raised?
See, the revenues are what we are getting across the globe are very well balanced. I would say it's very uniform. Say 1/3 of it comes from Europe, 1/3 from UK, 1/3 of it comes from the APAC. Definitely the funds that are coming from Anicut, we would like to use for the global expansion to expand our global footprint. Number one. Number two, to drive innovation. And number three, I would say to use the local talent, the Indian talent, and develop advanced solutions in the area of E&D architecture, software-defined vehicles. Again, as I said some time ago, all the areas of electric powertrain, the cockpit domains, etc. So we would like to make use of this funding in terms of expanding the overall footprint, both in terms of the market presence as well as in terms of the technology presence.
Right. And what about profitability?
Obviously, the revenue and profitability, we are not looking at separately. We are looking at the growth of revenue as well as profitability very, together. Our expansion strategy is centered, centered around these two together. Firstly, we are focused on deepening our engagements with our existing clients as far as revenue is concerned. Secondly, we are expanding our global footprint, as I said, particularly in high growth regions.
Right.
UK is one of our focus market, and Europe is also our focus markets. See, our mission is to become the engineering partner of choice for the entire global mobility leaders over a period of next 3 to 5 years.
Sure.
The third part of it is investing in a little bit of advanced technologies, such as the next generation DNA architectures, ADAS and autonomous, which I said.
Absolutely.
Lastly, we also expect good growth by entering into collaborations, partnerships with some small startups, with some other technology-oriented companies, in picking up niche technologies and then taking out. Yeah. So this is where we would like to look at the overall growth and profitability.
Yeah. So that was those are your key focus areas. But Dhruv, finally, according to reports, Anicut Capital is in the process of raising its third credit fund with a target corpus of 1,300 to 1,500 crore rupees. Can you give us any details about this? A debt fund is also on the anvil. And also, what are your top bets for this year? Any more companies that you're eyeing? Which sectors are looking good?
So we operate across multiple asset classes. So we have the private credit side, where we are on the third fund, and we hope to close the fund by the end of the year. Our run rate is 6 to 7 investments a year, and we're already doing that from the new fund. We also have a Series A fund, where we have with BlueBinaries concluded 9 investments. Our plan is to fully deploy this fund by the first quarter of next year. We also have an angel platform where we invest first into companies, and these are new cutting edge technologies like space tech, defense tech, EV, clean tech, and that ecosystem is very vibrant, and we do typically 1 to 2 new investments per month from that platform. So all in all, across this spectrum, we today manage somewhere around 4,500 crores in AUM, and this is the strategy for us going forward to keep deploying across these assets in various opportunities that we are seeing across the board.
All right, so that's Anicut Capital's investment thesis. All right, Srinivas and Dhruv, thank you so much for taking time out and being here with us on Startup Street, and we wish you all the best on this journey going forward.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Once again for the opportunity.
Moving on, after 2 years of a harsh funding winter, things are looking up again for India's booming startup ecosystem. From a string of new age tech IPOs to funding rounds, investors are now placing a premium on profitability. With this in mind, Moneycontrol hosted its Startup Conclave 2024 with the theme Persist, Reset and Rebuild, bringing the who's who of India's startup ecosystem under one roof. During the conclave, Sumer Juneja, the head of SoftBank Vision Fund in India, said don't blame it on the funding winter, but lack of investable companies that is causing a funding drought. That's not all. Freshworks' Girish Matrabhumi advised founders to take some money off the table to make it big. Another hot topic at the event was F&O trading and the way the government is on its way to crack the whip. Echoing Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman's standing on F&O trading, PhonePe's Sameer Nigam said it needs to be tempered. Meanwhile, Grow CEO hopes to maintain their growth momentum in this growing market. That's not all. Swiggy and Delivery shared their perspective on quick commerce and the way it is disrupting the supply chain. Also, Zepto shared its plan to become a world-class internet company from India. Take a look.
Why does the SoftBank funding winter go on and on and on?
No, I don't think it's a SoftBank funding winter. I think if you see growth equity deals, look, for us, we're not going to do $10 million, $20 million checks. We might do, it has to be a real exception. But if you look at $50 million plus investments in tech, in AI first, tech first companies, I don't think there've been that many in the last 18 months.
So it's a supply issue.
I think it's a supply issue, and I think we go through cycles. And now I think the next cohort, which probably got funded in 2020-21, they have to be ripe for us now coming. And I think that 2021 there was a hype, so I think the cohorts were large. Maybe the quality, the quality wasn't as good. And that's across the board everywhere in the world.
I am an advocate for founders. When their company is scaling, they should even take some money off the table in secondary to take care of the home loan, to take care of the family, to take care of the children's education, so that their mind is free to go and hit it out big.
I, for one, as a broker, will not pass judgment on where people should invest their money as long as these are all legal forms of investment, point number one. Now, taking a macro view and where I think the FM and others were coming in from, I think there is a stability concern where new to capital market investors start trading in instruments that they don't understand the underlying risk of. I think there is a genuine concern on that side. It's legal activity, but it's risky activity. And I think it needs to be tempered some. I also believe it needs to be tempered. We were doing less than 20,000 orders before launching FNO. As recently as April, we are doing over 600,000 orders a day.
Wow.
That's 30x compounding.
You just came from behind and boom, you've now gone past Zerodha.
We started with a mission, and I think we are not even like 1% of that. So there's a lot to be done, and number of customers and so on. These are kind of, it shows that how much impact you have created, but they are also kind of vanity metrics, right? So yeah, I mean, there is a purpose and there's a long way to go there, and we continue building every day.
If you first think about like who quick commerce serves right today, it is still at the overall category has acquired probably 30-40 million consumers at the top of the pyramid in India. And if you think about where these users were making their grocery purchases from, there may have been like a very occasional visit to the Kirana, but the majority of the grocery purchases would still happen from either large format grocery stores that are modern trade or, for example, e-commerce. And even if you think about the debate, right, there are multiple things that are very different about, let's say, the quick commerce and let's say what even a Kirana offers. It cannot be taking share away from Kiranas.
You know, I still think, though, candidly speaking, that there's a tremendous amount of proving yet to be done, right? I mean, I think our stated ambition is to try to build, hopefully, a truly world-class internet company out of India that can be benchmarked to the Meituans or the Pinduoduos or the Coupangs of the world or the Mercado Libres of the world or the Airbnbs of the world, these sort of, you know, $60-70 billion plus highly profitable public internet companies. And, you know, that hasn't really been done in India, you know, with maybe one or two small, relatively small exceptions. And I think to be able to get there, and that's the only option for us. I don't think we can, you know, afford to be happy at what we're doing. I don't think we'll be able to survive unless we really go for a large outcome.
Some categories are clearly incremental demand, and there's new demand coming in which hasn't been there in the past. But as quick commerce proceeds, I think the reality is that the supply chain is going to rearrange itself. And the reality is that it is going to impinge on traditional retail, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be just Kiranas. It will be organized retail, for example, or modern retail, which also will be affected by quick commerce. I think we're some distance from that just yet. It's a narrow set of customers with a very specific value proposition, likely to be some amount of incremental demand.
On that note, it is time for us to head into a short break. But coming up, blockchain platform Algorand plans to develop a digital health passport in partnership with Lok Swasthya Seva to secure women's credentials in the informal economy. That and more on the other side. Stay tuned.
A challenge to transform the status quo. A challenge to reimagine possibilities. Mahindra Rise Challenge is shifting ambitions into high gear. Inviting students from premier Indian MBA campuses to present their best ideas. Judged by a jury of corporate veterans and a chance to accelerate your path to becoming a business leader. The Mahindra Rise Challenge. Coming soon on CNBC-TV18.
The Moneycontrol Startup Conclave 2024 brought together policymakers and startup leaders to explore the future of India's startup ecosystem and gain insights on the next wave of entrepreneurial success. This flagship event provided a platform for dynamic discussions among entrepreneurs, investors, and policymakers. Catch all the highlights of the Moneycontrol Startup Conclave 2024 at this time only on CNBC-TV18.
वो मिस्टर विकास की फाइल आप पॉलिसी बाजार मैम आपका हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस क्लेम अप्रूव हो गया है अब आप सर को घर ले जा सकती हैं
क्लेम के टाइम पे हमेशा आपकी हेल्प को तैयार पॉलिसी बाजार 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू
keep an eye on the next.
Because it's the next that drives us.
It's the next that brings in a revolution, a disruption that is rewriting the way we transact, heralding a new era of fintech,
Defined by innovation,
shaped by game-changing technologies. So, what's next? Let the finest minds of banking and finance tell you at the summit.
that will open a window to the future of banking.
To the next, to the new.
To the summit.
Nucleus Software presents the CNBC-TV18 Banking Transformation Summit on the 30th of August 2024.
Help keep your teen safe with Instagram's family tools, like sensitive content control, helping your teens filter out sensitive content. Default private accounts, allowing your teens to decide who sees and responds to their content. Restricted direct messages. By default, block messages from people your teens don't follow or aren't connected to. And we have tools for parents to help set daily time limits and more. Get started with our 50+ tools at instagram.com/familytools.
Get ready for the 9th Global Economic Summit on FinTech Accelerating the Digital Revolution, where the brightest minds in finance and technology converge. Hosted by WTC Mumbai and AIAI, this event brings together global experts to explore the future of FinTech. See how India and the world are shaping digital finance at the Global Economic Summit, only on CNBC-TV18.
Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Blockchain platform Algorand plans to develop a digital health passport in partnership with Lok Swasthya Seva to provide women in the informal economy with a secure and immutable record of their verified credentials to more efficiently access critical health benefits and social safety net programs. Aishwarya Anand reports. Take a look.
Women make up 53% of the 29 crore registered unorganized workers in India, according to the eShram National Database. A report by International Labour Organization shows that 82% of working women in India are in jobs such as domestic work, construction, waste picking, street vending, and home-based work. Awareness of and access to programs like Ayushman Bharat, including the Digital Health Mission and Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana health insurance program remains a challenge for millions of India's large informal labour force. To solve for this, Algorand Foundation's India initiative is developing a digital health passport in partnership with Lok Swasthya Seva, the health team of Self-Employed Women's Association. What's the idea of a digital health passport?
Aishwarya, it's really hard for anybody, but especially for low-income working women today, to prove their identity and provide the documents that allow them to enroll in public health programs. And so the health passport is something that's to empower them with their data so that they can enroll in these critical health programs.
The digital health passport aims to allow Seva Shakti Kendras to leverage their position with informal women workers and their families to rapidly enroll Seva members into the critical health and social protection programs.
There's information asymmetry. So women and their families don't know about the services and entitlements meant for them. So that's one critical factor. And the second is that they need support to navigate the systems and to collect the documents that they require to actually gain access to these services and entitlements. And that's where Seva comes in. We've set up Seva Shakti Kendras, which are embedded in the communities, in the villages, and in the urban mohallas. These are a center like an information hub run by women themselves. Women run these and provide information to their sisters and their families, and also help them actually collect all the documents required for the entitlements and the services. But what's very important, and which is where Algorand Foundation comes in, is that it needs to be kept in a safe space so that they don't get lost or misplaced or even burnt, floods, fire. This will be in their control. It's democratizing their own data and documents. It will lead them further on the road to health security.
elaborate a little bit on the tech that you're bringing to this.
So what blockchain enables is transparency, but also privacy, right? So you can be transparent. So when you've, through the link through DigiLocker and documents that are going to be provided by the government, you can store them. They stay in the DigiLocker, but what it enables the woman to do is show that document, prove who she is, and prove her eligibility for a program, right? And she can do that without having to carry around the paper documents.
Can you help us understand how many women are you working with currently, and with this initiative, how many women are you planning to bring to the fold?
Initially in our pilot, we'll be reaching out to 200 women because we have to test it out. That's the nature of pilots, and see where are the gaps and glitches and what works, what doesn't. And then we'll be scaling it up, eventually we would like to cover, if possible, the dream is to cover all 30 lakh Seva members, but we have to go step by step, starting in Gujarat anyway, and at least 200,000 to 300,000 of our members we'd like to cover through our health program.
Are there more non-profit or for-profit organizations, or even with government, that you're planning to integrate this tech with?
Through this Rs60 Cr, there's 35,000 households, 200,000 members that are participating, but that's limited by their administrative capabilities. If you take away the burden of having to go household to household, collecting those documents, finding the documents, and you bring in a Web3 type solution, that has the ability to scale in a massive way. So we would very much like to use this example and take it out to a much broader community, again, not just for health, but various other programs that we think blockchain can bring value.
It is Friday, and it's time to take stock of the big deals from the startup ecosystem. According to Venture Intelligence, this week saw a total of 12 deals valued at $521 million. Some of the notable deals include jewelry chain Bluestone, which raised $107 million from Think Investments, Process Ventures, Chris Gopalakrishnan, Steadview Capital, and Peak 15 Partners. Software testing automation platform OpKey bagged $47 million from Peak Span Capital and others. That's not all. Subscription-based healthcare service provider Even got $20 million from 8VC, Khosla Ventures, Rain Matter Capital, and others, while revenue-based financier Efficient Capital got $11 million from QED Ventures and others. Finally, wealth tech company Investor AI attracted $9.56 million from Ashish Kacholia. This year has seen a total of 221 deals in the startup world, worth $6.29 billion, according to Venture Intelligence. And with that, it is a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up on the other side. Stay tuned.
देश की जीडीपी में शेयर के मामले में दूसरे पायदान पर पहुंचने वाला यूपी योगी सरकार में अब देश की सबसे बड़ी इकोनॉमी बनने की ओर अग्रसर है। रेवेन्यू सरप्लस स्टेट बन चुके यूपी की अर्थव्यवस्था को आज रफ्तार दे रही है एमएसएमई इकाइयां। एमएसएमई के लिए बेहतर इकोसिस्टम विकसित करके योगी सरकार एमएसएमई को बढ़ावा दे रही है, जिससे विकास के नए पन्ने जोड़ रहे हैं और लाखों लोगों को रोजगार भी मिल रहा है। आज यूपी में 96 लाख एमएसएमई यूनिट संचालित की जा रही है, जो 2 करोड़ से भी ज्यादा लोगों को रोजगार मुहैया करा रही है। एमएसएमई से युवाओं को जोड़ने के लिए मुख्यमंत्री युवा उद्यमी विकास योजना 5 लाख रुपए और उससे अधिक की ब्याज मुक्त आर्थिक सहायता दे रही है। इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड शो 2023 में एसएमई पर फोकस रहा, जिससे इस क्षेत्र में संभावनाएं और बढ़ी। इंटरनेशनल ट्रेड शो सेकंड एडिशन में एक कदम आगे बढ़ाते हुए एमएसएमई सेक्टर की सफलता की महागाथा लिखेगा और यूपी के विकास को नई दिशा देगा।
Oh, that would be Nandan, my co-founder. Oh, my favorite restaurant in Bangalore is Chinita. Second best would be